Okay, we are at last live. Okay, so what was your question on Vandana?
Well, the question was we have heard so many things when it comes to Vandana from so many people. And I was wondering in what sequence shall that be recited and what all elements should be there.
Okay, so the answer to that is let's start why Vandana. So we are doing Vandana to create Shraddha or faith. That's the reason. And second reason is that uh, for the mind to get associated with object other than worldly object. Now, coming to the sequence, there is no particular sequence. You can choose whatever you want. There's nothing called after this I should say this and say that and वैसा तो नहीं. That's not the way it works. So basically, I want to cut the thought, and that's the reason I'm doing it. It's not base for any other thing. So there is a sutta called Jhana Sutta. In that, he uses Etan Santan Etan Panitan. For the very first time, he uses there, and using that, he goes through all 8 jhanas. So the basic aim is to cut the repeating thoughts and the five senses which get associated with object. So for that, you do Vandana, especially Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and you start reflecting what are the qualities. In fact, there are a lot of suttas where he starts with iti piso bhagava. The people understand that, and then they feel energy roused when they do that, and then they go to second jhana and third jhana, like that. Okay, now the question comes, is that mandatory? Except for sila, samadhi, panya, nothing is mandatory. So when it comes to samadhi, we have to choose the samadhi object. So the first thing is sila. So once we get that sila properly, then samadhi is automatic. But before sila also, that we have hindrances. Our mind might be somewhere, or thinking something, or seeing something, sometimes hearing something, and tasting and touching and smelling and all that. So in that way, you require that Vandana to cut it. Now you had asked another question, why 3 times? So one is by mind, another one is by speech, another one is by body. Kaya, vacha, manasa. Kaya sankhara, vachi sankhara, mano sankhara. So hence 3 times.
So, how does it directly or indirectly affect Kaya, Vachi, and Manu
How
Sankhara?
does it affect? Actually, if we go deeper into it, it affects, otherwise it doesn't. How it affects on Kaya is that your breathing becomes very light. That's how it affects your Kaya. And how do you go Vachi? Your Vitakka Vichara will go away. Vitakka is thinking, and Vichara, pondering and thinking and pondering in English. Actually, it is, we have this debate happening in the mind. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? That will go away. And a certainty will come, and vichara, thinking, will stop. There's nothing to think. Then, when come to manosankhara, you will have the Vedana and the Sanya totally change. So the Vedana will be Niramisa, sukha, and the sanya would be anicca sanya rather than nicca sanya, and hence the mind is at peace. That's another reason why we do it. And in fact, in Girimananda Sutta, you would have realized Buddha talks about 10 sanya, dasa sanya, and that person comes back to his health. From a very bad health, he comes to a good health. Now we might see how it really happens. I don't think so it happens that way, but it really happens that way when we are in that state. So that's another reason why it affects kaya vacha manasa. At the way we are doing today, or the way it is done today, maybe we might not get that effect. But if you feel for it and it gets really into effect, I can narrate my experience in 2018, 17 or 18, I don't know, one of that year. I was in Ladakh and I was listening to Metta Sutta and Karaniya Metta Sutta, both. On the my Ladakh partner had put on the stereo, meaning I was playing on his car, in his car, and we had gone outside Leh and we were having a good time. And he wanted to show me something. So I said, okay, let's go on the mountainside and all that. We're going. I was playing and it was continuously playing. And I was singing along with that. I don't know what happened. After some stanzas, I started feeling the pain of all the beings and I started crying. And by the time the Karani Metta Sutta ended, I have literally cried as crying for more than an hour. It's unstoppable tears. And my partner just sat into one corner. He didn't know what to do. And I'm crying profusely. It's nothing to do with my family. It's nothing to do with anything has happened in my life. We're having fun. But that Karaniya Metta Sutta and the Metta Sutta really brought tears. And I really felt the strength of that sutta. Okay, and after that, I have had many of those episodes while I never used to show to people that I am getting tears. And at once, I was having the same kind of sutta, and then I was feeling, I started to feel what a kind of student I am. Meaning, the teacher has given so much, but the student, instead of liberating, has got stuck up with this. So I was sobbing actually, not crying, it was sobbing. Literally, I was sobbing. And then I started to feel that Buddha is watching me and all that. And there is a Jinapanjara Sutta. In that, he says that you can consider Buddha watching over your head and Sariputta and Moggallana and all that in your body and which part. And you can play that. And if you do that, you will really feel it. You literally feel it that someone is watching you. So that's the strength of those things. It works. They have a book called Gatha. In that, all of this will come. In Sri Lanka, they keep on reciting, but that by reciting, nothing is going to happen. But if you really experience it, it's a wonderful thing to have. Chittas get so much purified. So it works.
So I see that this is all about Buddha Dhamma is all about experience.
Yes, not a theoretical science or just reading some sutta or gatha or udana and all that. That literally doesn't bring anything.
Could you please help me understand how can an individual who is following Buddha Dhamma path will start experiencing these things, because it happens most of the times that you are able to comprehend things intellectually, but when it comes to experiential level, it's not that easy to get.
See, I'll tell you the reason why it is like that. So we have to see that what is manas, mana indriya. Okay, that is the seventh state in the chitta. So it is chitta, mano, manasan, hadayan, pandaran, mana, yatanan, mana indriyan. Then it becomes vinyana and vinyana khandas in 9 stages. Now, when I say this to you, it is theory basically, because you can't literally experience anything, because what is happening is the asavas, the fermentation, come into the chitta, so it gets colored. So when it gets colored in the mano, which is like a TV screen, it projects what is coming there as color. So when I say it's an intellectual, there is this buddhi, which is intellect, which is part of the same chitta. So the faculty which will give you the yoniso manasikara and ayoniso manasikara is the buddhi. So instead of using the word buddhi, Buddha uses yoniso manasikara, ayoniso manasikara, because it's part of manas. And manas has two. One is it projects, another one it reflects. The reflection is the yoniso or ayoniso, and the projection is what it projects. Projection is nothing but what it displays. So what people see of a person as a personality is nothing but either a yoniso manasikara or a ayoniso manasikara. Okay, so it has two. One is it reflects, another one is project. In that reflection mode, there is this intellectual faculty which is what sanya all about, perception. It perceives the object, it can distinguish the object, and it can say what the object will do and what it will not do. And that is where the nitya anicca is all about. Okay. Now when I say I want to experience, who is this person who has to experience? It's the chitta which is experiencing it. It's not anybody else. There's no you. It's only the chitta. But if the chitta is contaminated, the chitta experiences a contamination. If the chitta is uncontaminated, then it experiences itself as uncontaminated. But the buddhi faculty, where you use it for yoniso manasikara, you in the sense that yoniso manasikara, thoughtful reflection will hit back on the chitta and it clears the chitta, impurities in the chitta, and hence recedes from the vijnana to chitta and becomes pure light. And that's the reason he says pabasara midam chittam. It's shining, light, total light, and real light, not intellectually. One second. So basically that is what it is. Now the question comes, how will the chitta come to know? And for this process only we have to do meditation. 1 second. So the meditation is to enable the chitta to let go of what it is holding, upadana. Now, what's the starting point? All this is okay. Now, what should I do to experience? So, the simplest thing to do is start believing in Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Belief, not faith, just a belief. Then, what happens is that's the chittas which are kusala and akusala, both are there. So, akusala chitta is holding on to the kusala chitta and not allowing to come up. In every one of us, there is akusala and kusala. So, basically, I start working on sila. Just as I'll start putting precepts and precept and precept and precept, and then what happens is the akusala will start to break. Where it breaks is the question. Where on it will break. So, on the mano, it starts to open up slightly, and on the intellect, sanya, it starts to show up whatever it is opening up. And the chitta, now a new set of chitta will start to come than the old chitta. So then you experience whoever is that you, either in the sight or sound or taste or touch or smell or in the body and in the mind. You start with yoniso manasikara to experience something different, because those chitta which are kusala are starting to come. Okay, now this is how literally it works, because there is no I at all, it is only the chittas. So there are two chittas, or rather three chittas. One is Kiriya Chittas, which are, if you go by Abhidhamma, then there is Kiriya Chittas, that they don't do anything. They are just neutral. And there is Kusala Chitta, there is Akusala Chitta. And he gives the numbers and all that. We don't have to go into the detail, but we need to know that there is Kiriya Chitta, that also we don't have to worry. We just have to know that there is Kusala Chitta and Akusala Chitta. And when I say I am, it's a combination of kusala and akusala. So the first thing I want to do is to get rid of akusala, so that the fermentation, the asavas, reduces on akusala side. It will be there on the kusala side, that's okay. But it's not there on the akusala side. When it's not there on the akusala side, the tamas, which is darkness, goes away. Kusala are lightweight, and they are transparent. And akusala are hard, they are dark. So the objective of all of those 10 things what we read in the Kunda Sutta or elsewhere is to remove that. So the starting point for me or for you, for anyone, is removal of immoral, dasa akusala to kusala. So in the Samanapala Sutta also he says, he starts with ethics. Shorter ethics, medium ethics, longer ethics, like that. He totally puts that. And those many ethics, when we put it, it becomes totally kusala. Now you have removed, cut. Now you might imagine who is going to cut it. It's the intellect which is going to cut it. The sanya, you have made it as a anicca sanya now. And that is going to cut all of this, because it can penetrate the dukkha. So then you understand the dukkha satya. With the kusala, the dukkha satya comes into existence. With akusala, sukha comes into existence. So the viparyasa, which is what we can say, or in Pali vipallasa, means that taking what is not true to be true, in English, if you were to put it, is taking anicca to be nicca, dukkha to be sukha, anatta to be atta, asubha to be subha. This is the four lakhana condition. So when my chitta has an object, wife, as an example, chitta has wife. I don't have wife. The chitta already registered wife. Now, how will I let go of that wife is the question. Now, for that, there is this charnel ground meditation 9 times. Because then only I am seeing that every day, I am seeing that every day, I am seeing that every day, that the flesh is getting decayed and only the bone remains and only teeth remains and this remain, that remain. And that chitta gets purified through sanya, anicca sanya. So sankharas drop off. Now it come into yoniso manasikara from ayoniso manasikara. So I have a wife whom I love a lot, but I am loving the body which is made out of Pathavi and Apo and Tejo and Vayu. Intellectually, when I say intellectually, it means by perception, I know, have read that it is made out of these 4 elements. But in the chitta, wife exists. So now you have a conflict. When I read, I understand, but there is no experience because in the chittas it is only wife. So now I need to do something, and that is the reason Buddha gives all those different kinds. In the Mahasati Patana Sutta, he gives Anapanasati, then he gives this, and then he gives that, and he gives that, and he gives that. Or Kaya, so many different types. Because Sakkaya Ditti is there in the mind, which is nothing but the Chitta. Vijnana has that. It's nobody else who has it. When the Rupa comes into existence, it immediately takes it as mine. It's my Rupa, or my wife, or my son, or my daughter, or this, or that. And the Vedana will immediately, there's a feeling that she's my wife. It's my, which comes. And the Sanya, it says that it is your wife only. That Buddhi is saying that it is your wife. Now, no matter how much I read, she is not my wife, she is not my wife, she is not. But the Chittas have wife. So nothing anybody can do because it is akusala dhamma. So with this 10 of them, you literally break open that shell which is covering it. So the asava starts to recede, kama asava starts to recede. So when the kama asava starts to recede, you will start to see the reality. 1 minute. Shrikant, I'm in a meeting. Shall I call in 1 hour? Okay. So that's the thing. So what is my starting point before even getting into meditation? The starting point is to remove the dasa kusala. For removing dasa kusala, what I need to do? I need to have, first start with belief that, oh, Buddha is going to give me some medicine. And then I start with Vandana and all that. Typically it becomes like a ritual for some time. And slowly it starts sinking in because it has to first come into the sanya, perception. Then it will get into the chitta. So you will have a separate set of chittas which will start eliminating these chittas. That's how it works. Okay, so after a while, you will start to feel. The feeling now, the three feelings. One is sukha, dukkha, neutral. Now you will start to feel the neutral which shines. So you feel a light feeling in your heart and you feel, wow, this is something different. Because that Vedana, what is coming, is a different kind of Vedana, which is Niramisa Vedana. That is Niramisa Sukha. The Samisa Sukha and Niramisa Sukha. So you will get Niramisa Sukha without adulteration, without coloring. And you know you have experience because it's there in the chitta. So chitta, you have it, and that is experienced. And when it is experienced, when I say experience, a Vedana. And the Sanya, perception, is Sukha. And what kind of Sankhara is that? Aninjayabi Sankhara, where your mind is elevated. So now you know the Kusala Dhamma is working for you. This is the whole process of meditation. Now, when I do Vipassana as per Ubakin, almost there in terms of observing the sensation coming on the body, all that is correct. But does it lead to Niramisa? Maybe or may not be. It is Samisa only. It is not totally Niramisa, because the object of meditation is only the sensation which is arising in the body, which is good. So what we are trying to see is the Dukkha Vedana and Sukha Vedana. So we are looking at whether there is any sensation. So the sensation is Dukkha Vedana. So there is Dukkha Vedana which I'm accepting that at this point in time the Dukkha Vedana Vediyamano Pajanati. Dukkha Vedana Vediyamano Pajanati. So that means I am now knowing that our Dukkha Vedana has come. I am not reacting to it, which is good. That's how it should be done, and that is correct. But it doesn't lead to Niramisa, because it misses many portion of what is here. Meaning, the chittas have to be purified, not about anything else. Why are we doing Buddha Dhamma is to purify the chitta, that's all. Nothing, no other thing is there. No in between masala. Straightforward Chitta Shuddhi. So when I talk about Chitta Shuddhi, it is about a purification of mind. When we say, in English they call it mind, but it is actually Chitta. Chitta has colors. So it has three basic colors. One yellow, and two is red, three is blue. Three basic colors. Raga, Dvesha, Moha. So when I see an object, I like it, it becomes yellow. Okay, so now if I go to a burner, I can see the same yellow color, it heats up. I can see that. So when I look at an object and I'm desiring that object, I can see the heat getting generated. Actually, I cannot sit. I need it, but it is not burning. It's heating up. Till I get that object, it heats up. So I can observe, the body is now heating, the mind is heating up. So that is the contemplation on the Chittanupassana. So he says, Saragam va chittam saragam chittam pajanati. Vitaragam va chittam vitaragam chittam pajanati. That means there is no raga. So the yellow makes hot. The sensation which comes is hot. You can watch it. It is hot. Hot in the sense not real hot. It is warm. Just warms up. You feel disturbed. You feel like fish out of water. That kind. And then the dosa comes, which is dvesha. It is red, like the flame of red. Right? It burns. And any dvesha, it burns. So you can see a body turning red with fury, and the voice goes up, ears becomes red, It's quite visible. Then the yellow. The yellow thing is in the eyes only, but the red color is across the body. And there is moha, which is blue, just like the blue flame. It cooks well. Equanimity is also blue. So basically, there are now a problem. Avidya and vidya, both are same. Avidya is also blue in color, and this is also blue in color. The only difference here that with vidya, you know why it is blue in color. Otherwise, you don't even know that something like that exists. So, what Buddha did is that the middle path is that you have three sensations. One is the raga, another one is dvesha, and in between is the moha. You remove the moha aside. Moha has nitya, sukha, atta, subha. You now really see that it has dukkha, it has anicca, it has dukkha, it has anatta and asubha. In that way, you have caught the middle path, where raga and dvesha doesn't bother, and it's equanimity. So I establish equanimity through this. So the Mahasatipatthana Sutta of all the four, Kayanupasana, Vedananupasana, Chittanupasana, Dhammanupasana, will take me a complete to Arhat. Only with that sutta, because now I can see what all to implement. So first thing is that I worked on the Dasa Kusala, then I am giving the Vandana and all that, then I am watching the body, then depending upon whether I have Raga, Dvesha, Moha, then I am looking at what all that needs to be done. And then my Kayanupasana is over. Now as I am looking at Kayanupasana, then the Vedananupasana is looked into, and as while I am looking at Kaya and Vedana, the Chittanupasana gets into it, and the purity of Chitta starts. Now I know, is ragam va chittam, vitam vrita ragam va chittam, dosam va chittam, vita dosam va chittam, moham va chittam, vita mogam va chittam. Like that I can get all the chittas. Vimukti chitta also I can see, my chitta is released. This is the practice. Through whichever method. My method is that there are so many ways of five aggregates is one way, Patisamutpada is another way, Tilakhana is another way, whatever way. The idea is the Yoniso Manasikara has to get established, which is part of which is part of Sanya, which then leads into Panya, wisdom. The wisdom is, at today my wisdom is, it is Michcha Ditti, Michcha Sankapo, Michcha Vacha, Michcha Kammanto, Michcha Ajivo, Michcha Vayamo, Michcha Sati, Michcha Samadhi, and then Michcha I have Avidya, and Vimukti is also not there. So Michcha Jnana is what I am having, because Avidya is there. So Michcha Jnana. Today, the 10 of them. 8 noble truth plus 2 fruits. So my 2 fruits are Michcha. Now I have to make it as Satcha. So through this, I now know what should be done. So the Ditti should be Samma Ditti, Samma Sankapo, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanto, Samma Ajivo, Samma Vayamo, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi, Samma Jnana, Samma Vimukti. So that route is done. So the objective of Vandana is to take you there by breaking the contact of the Chitta with the Akusala. That's the thing for meditation. So when I want to start meditation, I should be spending at least 1 hour, half an hour, or even more, depending upon my state of mind. on all these gathas. And if my mind is even more disturbed, there is one sutta where he says that you have to recite in the Dasuttara Sutta. Sariputta explains there are people who cannot get it, so they have to recite. Same thing with Sangiti Sutta, that is Dhiga Nikaya 34. You have to recite. Because I am not able to get it. The chittas are totally unbearable. And I am chitta, so I can't do anything, right? So the knowledge is literally theoretical, the knowledge is literally conditioned, the literally is not working. So what is that I can do? Nothing I can do. So this is the whole objective of doing Vandana. Does that mean that every day I have to do this Vandana? No. Once we complete and we are able to establish, then Vandana need not be there. It's not like a puppet I keep on saying, or like a parrot I keep on saying that. No. So general practice is you need to have all of this, because we don't know what is the level of our experience. Once experienced, should I really require it? No. Absolutely not. Hope I could answer.
Yeah. So, as you told, that the first step is going to be like removing 10 akushala.
Correct.
So, you have given a process how to remove it by contemplation.
First, by recitation. See, there are three things you need to do. I also need to do. First is empty recitation, which is what you do in a retreat also. You sit down, somebody will say Pana, Tipata, Veramani, Sikkhapada. So you are cutting the other thoughts by doing it. What are these thoughts? The Mano has an ability to think on its own, right? Because it has life. Mana Indriya. By itself, it has an Indriya. It's by itself has the power of reflection. Like ear and nose and tongue, and it also has its own. It can recognize the object. So now when I go to a retreat, I have chanda, interest. I have kama chanda also, and also I don't want to have kama chanda. So both chandas are there. So when I go to a retreat or when I sit like we both are discussing, there's no kama. But now mind is to be pulled back into the act, what it should be doing. So you first recite. Once you recite, watch the breath. Watch whether both the nostrils are getting the same amount of air. You will be getting it. That means the platform is ready. Now you can do vipassana, because now you are set. Contemplation can happen. You can take any subject, you can contemplate. So you require samatha and then turn that into vipassana. For that you require a gatha or some recitation to begin with, till it becomes a habit. After the habit is created, you don't require, it's a tool, so you can remove it. So now the question comes, should I do all the 10 recitation? Yes. After you get established, no. You don't have to recite. Mentally recitation is okay. Then after that, should I recite? No, because you are already established in dasa kusala. So then you don't require. So till I do it, I require. It's a task by itself. To stop vivichehi kamehi, vivichehi akusala dhammehi, then first jhana and all that, right? So vivichehi kamehi, in English they translate as quite secluded from sensual. Vivicha, icha means liking. Vivicha means other liking, not disliking. What is other liking? Getting into jhana is other liking. And kama is the one which hinders that. So I create a icha on the other one so that this icha goes away. Whereas in English it is translated as secluded, quite secluded from sensual pleasure. Because there is no English word to that. Vivichehi akusala dhammehi. Now what is this akusala dhamma? It is raga, dvesha, moha. Through the 10 immoral deeds. So I eliminate it. Looking at the rebirth problem, I will get rid of it. So then I sit, watch the breath. No contemplation, no thinking, only the breath, where it is touching. So I get into samatha. After this, body becomes very light. That is, so sato va asasati, sato va pasasati, dhigam va asasanto, dhigam asasamiti pajanati, rasam va asasanto, rasam pasam samiti pajanati, like that. Sabbakaya pati samvedi, asasi samiti sikhati, sabbakaya pati samvedi, pasasi samiti sikhati. Pasam bhayankaya sankharam, asasi samiti sikhati, pasam bhayankaya sankharam, pasasamiti sikhati. These two will happen. That is pasam bhayankaya sankharam. You get a piece of kaya. The body becomes still, peaceful, energetic, light. So the breath is so light, just like a little breeze happening. Then I am ready for contemplating about sabbakaya patisabsa, what is the sabbakaya means and all that, and then different things I can take. So the basic aim, now if I see the chittas, or forget the chitta, I can say thoughts are not there. So if I just keep on looking at it, I don't have anything, it's blank. Now in that blankness, I start my contemplation. Whatever it is. Even the Vandana contemplation I can do. What is Buddha? What is Dhamma? What is Sangha? Like that. And you get insight. Where it is getting insight? What is meaning of insight? When we say insight meditation, what it really means? The chitta starts to recede back in a way that the akusala will start to fade away. And the kusala will start to reap. So you feel that lightness of the body and lightness of the mind, which is why the restlessness, udacha, will go away. So that is the advantage. So this whole process is no less than 2-3 hours in a day, till we get that experience.
All right. So
the first step, Vandana or whatever, some gatha. Second, you want to contemplate, you have to take that subject and contemplate. Let us say I want to contemplate on iti piso bhagava arahan samma sambuddho blah blah blah, all that. Keep it First say 3 times. Make the breath even. Then look at Pasambhayam Kaya Sankharan. The Kaya, the breath is connected with Kaya, and hence Kaya Sankhara. Pasambhayam Kaya Sankharan means that Kaya Sankhara is stilled. The breath is stilled. Now I can do contemplation on what is Iti Piso Bhagava. Now the chittas will all have Bhagava there. The remaining will go away. So while you're contemplating and contemplating and contemplating, the chittas, the dasa akusala chittas starts to recede. It's like there are other chittas which are coming, but they don't have energy and say keep on dropping away. And this chitta has the highest energy, so it keeps on multiplying. After a while, those chittas will not even exist. And that is how you come to know that the Sakkaya Ditti is gone. Because you'll be able to penetrate on Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. And you know the Panchupadana Khanda is a dukkha. And the moment you know that, you know Sakkaya Ditti is permanently removed from the system. So first you leave Visikicha because there is no doubt on Buddha Dhamma. And then the Silabatta Paramasa goes away, leading on to this Sakkaya Ditti, and that goes away. So 3 lower fetters are removed. From where? From the Chitta. They don't exist at all. Not from me. It's not there in the Chitta. So there's no way I will be able to reflect any time again, I am Rupa, I am Vedana, I am Sanya, I am Sankhara, Vijnana. No. Because they don't exist in the Chitta. Same way, interest on Kama, Kama Chanda, and Vyapada, that is malintention, for whatever reason, is going to be there in the Chitta. The Chittas will come with that nature. It flows. It's like flood. And that's the reason he says Ogha, Kama Ogha, like that. So actually it's a flood. This is flood of Chittas of that kind, which makes a real heated up. The senses get heated up by that Chittas, which flows into all the senses. So you get Kama Raga. And if it is Dvesha, then it gets into Patig, striking. You would like to strike. Now that will go away by watching and watching and watching and watching and watching. It recedes because you are putting like a policeman. The Sanya is watching through Yonisa Manasikara. So both of them recede and it dies down because you're not giving any energy anymore. So Kama Chanda Vyapada will go away. So that will lead into Anagami. So this is, you will come to know by yourself because the Chittas don't carry it any longer. It's not about whether I'll say Vandana or no Vandana or this or that. That will be in the Chitta only. So what are we trying to do is, the first it is full of confusion, chaos in the Chittas. So the Chitta has another friend which is Sanya, and in between is Sankhara, the willful actions I'm doing through eyes, ears, nose, tongue and body and mind, against the Rupa. So Rupa has a feeling. As soon as it comes, the feeling comes in the, when you say mind, each Chitta will come with that feeling of what it is, and each Chitta will have the Vedana. sanya. Each chitta ready for sankhara. Each chitta is what is vijnana all about. So it's by itself, it's able to experience in each of the senses. So if I were to say I want liberation, what it really means is that not to have these six senses vijnana arising at all. That is vimukti. And that is what we need to do. That is vijnana arising, not chitta arising. Vijnana arising. That means it's already contaminated. So I am going to remove that contamination, which is pure chitta. No contamination. Pure and bright. So when I see sight, it's just sight. No color. When I hear the sound, it's only sound. If I taste, it's only taste. If I touch, it's only touch. If I smell, it's only smell. If I think, it's only thoughts. Of what? Of benevolence, meaning love. So, metta, karuna, mudita, upekha, that is all will be there in the chittas. No other things will be there in the chitta. And hence, Brahma Vihara is established. The chittas are already residing in Brahma realm. All the time. So this is the process of slowly achieving that target. Today I have a lot of Kamachanda, Vyapada, this, that, all that is there. Yes, it is there. Acknowledge. Like what he says in the Chitta Anupassana, acknowledge. Yes, Saragam va Chittam, Saragam Chittam Pajanati. Yes, sir, it has come. In where? Chitta, not in me. There is no me there. The Chitta is carrying it. And the Panya is not able to do anything about it because the Sanya has all that impressions which it believes that it is what it is. So there is no, it's a ayoniso manasikara, and hence it is suffering. So I need to first look at the dukkha, the reason for suffering, and then only the chittas will start to recede, those chittas, and the kusala chittas will start to increase. After a while, there is no dasa akusala chittas, only kusala chitta. Then you create kiriya chittas, which is completely equanimous, pure. Then you are released. This is the whole picture I gave you. I don't know how much you were able to understand, pick up with these examples, but I have dumped everything on you. I'm sorry that I dumped everything.
See, which is okay. Actually, I've been following up with this theory for a long time. And every time this is what I get. A lot. When I get a lot, then slowly and gradually, I try to assimilate it.
Correct.
Now, what you're telling me, I have already heard that 3-4 times or read it somewhere else. Or heard somewhere in suttas. Or somebody else. So now it is slowly and gradually, building it up. Now, slowly and gradually, the entire structure is building up. The other day, when I spoke to Harshal, he sent me a chart. It was a huge chart.
Correct.
I was just wondering how did he even, made that chart. In fact, that prompted me to talk to him. So I spoke to him for almost an hour. How could you have comprehended Dhamma in such a fine manner wherein you were able to, draw such a good chart? Similarly, these things, the entire Dhamma theory is building up inside me slowly and gradually. And you just have, contributed to the cause in a very fine manner.
Okay, good.
No matter, I may not be able to comprehend entirely, 100%.
One second.
But yes.
One second.
Sure.
Hello. Yes, sir. Sorry. Some wrong numbers.
Yes. So, this entire thing is, slowly and gradually building up. So that is good. No matter what, even if it comes beforehand. So down the line, I would certainly have a point of reference also for the same.
True. So the thing is, the end result is to make the chittas fully pure and bright.
Yeah.
That's all. The end goal. Arhat phala samapatti is no coloring of the chitta. Sotapanna is that no coloring to an extent of calling Rupa is me and Vedana is me and Sanya is me and Sankara is me and that one. Right? That is. And the Sakatagami is where the chittas don't have a real bad intention and don't have so much of raga that it starts possessing. There's no possession. So the chittas don't arise with possessive mentality. You don't feel possessed. Like, if I call myself Anagami, Sakadagami, the first thing I need to see is, if I see this home, I see it as home, not as my home. I see it as money, not my money. It's just a money. It's there for transaction. So it doesn't matter whatever I want to spend, I spend, don't want to spend, don't spend. It's not mine. Like, I always feel these people are taking care of me. Even otherwise they would have taken care. But now the feeling is different. The chittas don't arise saying that it's your wife and this is your son. The chittas arrive with a feeling that it's a human being who is helping you. And it's not your home anyway. So you feel you're in a monastery. At the same place wherever you are. Because the chittas don't carry that. Right? So now you become literally anagarika. Which is nothing but not getting attached to anything. And you have given up the home feeling. Agara means home. Anagara means no home. You are now become homeless. All the six senses have home. Now you don't have home. Now the six senses are not having any home. You can see that. When it's anagami, there's nothing to go behind and nothing to reject. In the chitta, it doesn't arise. And hence, there's no womb existence, because you require to like something or dislike something to get into the womb. Otherwise, there is nothing you can do to get into the womb. So you always reborn in Brahma realm, because you already created 4 Brahma Viharas by getting into Anagami in the Chittas. But still color is there. Light color is there. Now that goes away. Finished. Avidya is gone. With avidya going, everything goes away.
Well, you just mentioned that likes and dislikes prompt you to get into a womb existence. Could you please elaborate a bit on that?
Okay, now what is liking? Liking has becoming in that place. I want to become something. That's there in that liking itself. Or I don't want something. So bhava, vibhava both are there. Okay, I'll give some examples to make things.
Yes, please.
I'm not happy with this place. It's very cold here. So what I want to establish myself in a warm place.
Warm place.
I don't like to be in India. I want to be in America. Why? Because it's a good country, lot of money, lot of way of living, better roads, better working condition. Okay, and if I have money, I can buy anything. Let's say this is my intention. Where it is coming? America is where? In the chitta. India is where? In the chitta. Nowhere else it's there. All the chittas will be carrying America. It's not I am carrying America. The chittas are carrying America. It requires an opportunity to get established in America. So what I do is start watching videos. So the mind automatically latches onto it. Upadana. Now you see what all will happen. Vedana. Vedana Pachaya Tanha. So the Tanha is on, craving is on being born in America or going to America, whichever way it is. In this life, I get an opportunity, I'm in America. If I cannot, then the next life, I'm in America, or whichever life that is. I'm meditating on that. I need to be in America, I need to be in America, I need to be in America. Right? That's there in the chitta. So I'm strengthening that chitta. Now, after I do that, I should hold on to it, otherwise there is nothing I can do. So the womb existence have to come. There should be something holding on to it, otherwise how will I get womb existence? So I will have upadana. Upadana pachaya bhava. I want to become an American. Bhava pachaya jati. Now the birth happens. Now my question would be, don't I think so that I am already born in America by looking at a video? Yes, absolutely true. But it's not chuti which has happened. The death has not happened. What has happened is mentally I am enjoying America, just like I am mentally enjoying a female, mentally enjoying something, mentally enjoying the kama sukha. I am enjoying that. So the bhava vibhava is already there in liking and disliking. So when the liking and disliking itself is not there, then there is no way you can come into the womb existence at all. Especially Naveen, when you reach Anagami, you will yourself see that. It's quite visible to you. It's not that I'm saying out of imagination, it's visible. And you will know your destination also. It will be as clear as that. Because you know in the chittas that they don't exist. That's the beauty of Dhamma. I'm not talking from theory. It's truly you can experience it. And when the day you experience it in the chitta, you know you have picked it up. You know that you have seen it. And that's the reason Buddha, in the end, in many of the suttas, he says that you know that you got vimukti. And this is your last birth also you will come to know. Why? Because the chittas don't carry any rebirth process at all in any existence. And you will yourself, you means the chittas know it. So, in the end, parinibbana, what happens here is that the chittas don't get into vijnana state at all. There's nothing like they go into vijnana state. So the Mara is looking at the vijnana, not the chitta. And they get extinguished there. So the chakku vijnana becomes chakku chitta. So there's nothing available in the chakku, in the sota, in the ghana, in the jiva, in the kaya, in the mano. So it gets extinguished then and there. So somebody asks Buddha, are you preaching annihilation? And he says no. But your process seems to be annihilation. And he says no. But I believe it is annihilation. And he says no. And then he asks Buddha, can you explain me this riddle? He says, have you seen a lamp? Says, yes. Can the light go out of that lamp? Yes. So he says, with the ending of all fetters, there is no fuel. Can you now find out where the light is going to go? He says, no. That's all what is going to be. When asava khaya jnana comes, it's like padipo, or the deeper light gets extinguished without any residue. So there's no chakku created, there is no sota created, there is no ghana created, there is no jiva created, there is no kaya created, there is no mano created. What I am seeing here, which I say I, is chakku, sota, ghana, jiva, kaya, mano. That's all what it is. And whatever I am seeing, which is called as Naveen, is chakku, sota, ghana, jiva, kaya, mano. Other than that, there is absolutely nothing in there. What else is there in that? So who should get liberated? The Vijnana. That's all. And there are a lot of suttas on Vijnana where a lot of people ask, who gets liberated? He says Vijnana. I had done one discourse also where to just say who gets liberated. There's one sutta, and in my write-up I have put that, so that whenever somebody gets confused, I don't think so, you can go to that sutta. So basic aim, Vijnana will not remain, citta, pure white light. Since there is no establishment of it, that light get extinguished there. So the difference between Buddha philosophy and Hindu philosophy is, in the Hindu philosophy, the citta follows, called as Atma. It follows birth after birth, and it is eternal. And in the Buddha teaching, Atma is not eternal. It arises due to a condition, and when the condition is removed, it gets extinguished then and there. That's the only difference. So when you go into the 9th jhana, 8th jhana, and then suddenly you start to see all your past lives, you can see that you have existed in all the past lives, because the chittas carry all the impressions of what was done in the kaya, mano, this, that, everything is there, like a packet of information, and keeps on coming. So then it can go to the past and past and past and past and past, and so many past lives. Who is going? Chitta is going. Not I am going. The chitta is going. It goes, picks up, and lights up on that place. That life comes into existence. This life came into existence, like that. So that made people believe that it's eternal. That Atma is eternal. It is something which is there permanent. So they made it Atman, the self, the undivisible self, which is continuous. And Buddha came and said that, excuse me, it is citta to Vijnana. What you're seeing is Vijnana, and when it comes to citta, the Chuti Patisandhi, that is at the time of Chuti, ending of that, the light goes away. It doesn't get re-established, because the condition with which it was re-established has been removed. So asavas was the starting point for this citta to be present all the time. When you remove the asavas, the citta also doesn't have any place to stay. It's pure, it stays, at the end goes away. And in the Ratana Sutta also he mentions that. So if we meditate in that way, we can go from this to this to this to this.
So, in the initial stage, let's say an individual who is just uh, working on the Sakushala, at this time, can that person meditate formally, or he should not meditate formally, or just contemplate?
No, he can meditate formally. See, if I go by Vipassana of Ubakin, or I can go by POC tradition, Sri Lankan tradition, Burmese, sorry, Thai tradition, even Tibetan tradition, this tradition, whichever tradition, doesn't matter, including chanting Om. It's okay. First, I need to get that Samisa Sukha, at least. Beginner. If I tell him about citta, nothing is going to be understood. Yes, good to know.
Yes.
And then after that, he feels, oh, what a complicated thing about Buddha Dhamma. Or that whoever explained to me, he's made my life so complicated, I don't understand what is he trying to say. The very simple thing is, if I'm starting today, I have no formal training on Buddha Dhamma. 10-day retreat of Goenka is a good starting point. 100%. But I don't have to go to retreat every time. That is not required. Today I am starting. I have no knowledge about what is Buddha Dhamma. I just I sign up for the 10-day retreat. First 4 days, Anapanasati. Taking the trouble of the body, I'll sit and no shaking this way, that way, all that funny things. Sit and sit and sit and sit, watch the breath, and after 1 hour, relief from the pain of sitting there. After again do it, 8 hours, 9 hours. Good.
Yeah.
It's good. Actually, it is good because no amount of theory is going to get me that peace. So by the 5th or 6th day, I can start feeling the Samisa Sukha, which I am looking at from my job or from my family life or whatever. And the beauty of that is, for 9 days there is no talk. So much of energy wastage is reduced. So that is my starting point. But I shouldn't get attached to that. It's just, I understood, this is what Buddha Dhamma can provide me. Okay, good. Now let me, having understood that something is there in Buddha Dhamma with the 5 precepts which I have taken, let me go further. Let me investigate myself. And now I'll start with Sutta or whatever it is, or hearing to some discourses and getting into, because I need to convert the belief into faith. It shouldn't stick with my belief only. Someday I will become Sotapanna. No, sorry. And then that is foolishness. I should have faith, meaning I should experience something which tells me that I am on the way to become Sotapanna. Otherwise, it just becomes a belief. And I say, sir, can you tell me I am a Sotapanna? Maybe you are. What do you, sir? Maybe, sir, please tell me. That is belief. It should be unshakable. You know it, you have reached Sotapanna. You know that you have reached Sakadagami or Anagami or Arhat. It's not that I have to go and ask somebody, or I have to come and ask you, Naveen, tell me, have I reached Arhat? And you say, seems like that. I'm actually not able to make out, but from whatever you are speaking, I think you are already in Arhat. Now what will happen to me? I feel, Naveen has said I am in Arhat. That clearly shows I have not reached Arhat, because there shouldn't be anything to take or give. In that case, what's the point in asking you? No point. But at Sotapanna, I need to ask, or as a Puttujana, I need to ask, I've started my journey into Buddha Dhamma, what do you think? It's good to read, to comprehend, to write, to watch videos, blah blah, all that is required, very much required. But Vandana is something that is predominantly required till we reach Sakadagami level.
Yeah.
Then you drop that because that's no longer required. Because the possession orientation is gone. You're not possessing anything. Side. Good. I've reached Sakadagami now. Now I am doing meditation. Where the Kamachanda and Vyapada has to go. So the chittas don't carry it. So like that. So it's a step by step, you keep on dropping things. And at Arhat you even drop the Buddha Dhamma. Because that is an hindrance. And Buddha himself says that don't carry it like a raft. After crossing,
Drop it.
drop it. That is also not required because that causes rebirth again. Sorry, drop it. Don't hold anything. You didn't bring anything, nor you're taking anything. That's all what Arhat is. That will be your last life. I mean, this will be your last life. You will come to know because there are no asava. Kamasava, bhavasava, dhitti asava, avijja asava. Dhitti asava gone at Sotapanna. These three asavas are there. Kamasava is gone at Anagami. So left out with bhavasava and avijja asava. Bhavasava will go away because I want to exist in Rupa existence at present. In my case, I can get into jhana so quickly. It's an addiction. Even I am talking to you, I can get into jhana. So it makes me feel proud. The mana is there. Right? It's there. Now I can't say I don't have mana. Sorry sir, you have mana. Okay. Udacha. I want to achieve Arhat. Udacha is there. I can't say I don't have any restlessness for that. I do have. Then Kamaraga is not there. But Ruparaga is there. Aruparaga is also there. When I do infinite space, infinite consciousness, and nothingness, and neither perception nor non-perception, it's a beauty. But it's an attachment. It's there. And avijja anyway is there. So if somebody asks me, Vilas, are you an Arhat? What I should say? I should say all these five are there. If somebody asks me, are you a Anagami? I should look at whether I have Vyapada or Kamaraga or Kamachanda. Very little is there. Sorry, little or more doesn't matter. You are not an Anagami. Now very little is there. Sakadagami. Oh, I am having lot of it. So tapan. Simple. All of that is in the chitta only. No, nowhere else you will find it. So the starting point is here, ending point is purification of all chitta. So in your case, you should have restlessness, which you have. You should have eagerness, you have. You should have a perseverance, that also you have. So don't worry that whether you are a Padaparama or Neyo or this or just an information. What you should see now is like the question what you asked. I really like your question. Why we have to do this Vandana? Try it out and see. It will give you tears. And the day it happens, you are moved from Sotapanna. It's a beauty. You start to feel for everyone. Oh my goodness, so much of pain these beings are carrying, heaviness. It's foolishness, but they carry. Especially Metta Sutta. Aham Mavero Homi, Abhyapajo Homi, Anigo Homi, Sukhi Attanam, Pariharami. That really, it makes you rush with uh, compassion for all living beings, because it's so difficult to not to be having any enmity with anyone, from mosquito to human being. That bloody thing is biting me with me. And so that one. So and then Vyapa Jo Homi, ill will intention. A third one, Anigo, is a Raga Dvesha Moha. It's there. So I can keep on watching. Oh, this guy is suffering, that guy is suffering. All because of Raga. See, the market is rising, Raga comes. Market is going down, Dvesha comes. Somebody is getting promoted, Raga comes. You getting promoted, Raga comes. You are not getting promoted, Dvesha comes. So you can really see everywhere how the Raga and Dvesha, demand and supply, creates Raga Dvesha. And so much of pain you have to take. So you cool down. And once that happens, you move from Sotapanna to Saktaga. More it happens, Kamaraga Patika also goes away. So you get into Anagami. After that, these five things also goes away, leaving pure citta, pure and bright. Done for this life. Very simple Dhamma. So then why are we learning so many suttas? Just to break somewhere. See, you take let's take, you have a coconut and you don't have stone, right? So you have your hand only, let's say. You have to break open that coconut. What will you do? There are many alternatives. But I will say that you can't put it on the ground and break it. Sorry, you have to do it in your hand only. So what will you do? You'll try to peel off the outer cover. Then you'll try to see either anywhere you can. So you will use your knuckles and try to hit on that to see if there's any place where it is lighter. And then you'll try to find a small stone, because it'll pain. So you will ask, can I take a stone? Which is what Vandana is all about. Right. So now you take that, keep hitting, then literally it opens up. Now you get faith. It opened up, no? Now you can turn it and the water starts falling down. That means asavas are slowly dropping off. And not to the level I had expected. That's correct. With that small stone,
At least it has begun some. Yeah.
with the small stone, that is maximum I can do. Oh, it's okay. It's like a pebble. So hit and hit and hit. So all of these suttas are like pebbles. You keep on hitting on that stone and got it. So then your Pali also will happen. Don't worry, you will get there.
It looks like.
Huh?
Looks like certainly we'll reach there, because
Not
we have
looks like.
set out on a journey.
No, not looks like. You can be certain of that. Not just looking like. I hope so. No. There's nothing to hope there.
It's
No
a
fingers
difference of
crossed.
state,
What's that?
It's a different of a state. I'm a beginner and you have already accomplished something, right? So me, that thing is a huge, it would be a huge accomplishment, right? Though you have already accomplished it in the past. So it would be easier for you to, maybe think that, okay, this will happen.
No, it's not
I'm yet
like
to
that.
achieve it.
No, it's not like that. When I first time I read Samannapala Sutta, I really understood it.
Uh-huh.
For the fact I understood it. Two suttas changed my
Okay.
perception of life. One sutta was Mahatanha Khaya Sutta. It's in Majjhima Nikaya. That was a real eye opener for me. Wow, got it. And the second one, so that so that one and the second one is Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta. That gave me a complete direction on what is the Dhatu. Okay. And the third best sutta I ever got a complete clearance of what I should be doing step by step is DN2 Samannapala Sutta. These three sutta, along with Pena Pindupama Sutta, it gave me a great foundation. And I came to know it is possible to get Arhat with that sutta only. It's only the practice which I'm lacking. And then every sutta I read, I was able to understand because that thing got cleared. So I'm telling you, based upon my experience, that you will also get it. Today you might not have got it. I agree on that point. So in that way, you can call yourself a beginner or not able to get it or whatever it is. I'm confident, not on myself, on you also, because I started like you only. There's no difference.
Okay. Uh-huh.
In fact, you've done many things which I have not done. So you should be able to do it much better than me. Okay. What are the things you have done which I have not done? I have not gone to retreats. Not even a single retreat. Okay. All that I know about Vipassana is by practicing self. Not about going to a shibir or to a retreat. But I know exactly how it works. I had gone so deep into it. It's like one time, or rather, in 2014, I made Goenka as my unseen guru. Meaning, just like in the Mahabharata, you can read about Dronacharya versus Ekalavya, where the Ekalavya makes his teacher in a mud thing, statue, and he starts developing as though he's teaching. And exactly done that with Goenka. That level of dedication I had brought in. Okay, and after that, when I started reading Mahasatipatthana Sutta, I felt there is a gap. So then I moved from that. I thought I will not follow anyone henceforth except for the Buddha. So I made Buddha as my teacher. And the magic started to happen. That's all is my story. So you will get it. At present, You
Well,
you can take it with a pinch of salt, or you can say, ha ha ha. I know what you're saying. I know. You can.
well, it's a good morale booster actually.
It's not about. I'm not trying to motivate and do moral boosting. I'm certain.
No, from my side, I know. See, you certainly can perceive certain things, right? That I may not be able to perceive.
Correct.
So from your perspective, you're right.
And from your
I am just
perspective,
a
you are
novice.
right. Agreed. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make you happy just by telling that, yeah, okay, you'll reach or whatever. I'm When I say certain, it's certain that you will reach an higher realm than what you are today. That much is certain. Okay, it's all about how the asavas are going to be reduced, and when you reduce it, you can see it for yourself.
Mhm. So that should be all for the day, I guess.
Yes, sir. I think we had a good meditation session by talk.
Indeed. I mean, it was mesmerizing actually.
Okay.
A lot of things discussed. And if the need be, I'll certainly get back to you n number of times because
You can.
certainly I need a lot of clarification.
Yeah. Not to worry. And one way of recording is to ensure that we can go through, and for me also it is good.
Actually, no, what I do generally is once we go through a live session, I download the recording, and when I go for walk, I generally walk for an hour, morning and evening. So I just listen to the podcast if I missed out something, or if I have to, ask you something again. That is how it works for me actually.
Good. Nice.
So I'm a slow learner, but I learn very well. I'll not spare even a single turn.
That's what I'm telling you. You are dedicated. You slow learner, fast learner doesn't matter. You have that dedication.
I try to obtain everything.
That
Yeah.
dedication itself will take you there, is what I wanted to mean. See,
Yeah.
first and foremost, we should have dedication, right?
Indeed.
And that you have. It's only a matter of time of asavas clearing, and when it clears, it's there. It's not that you have to struggle much, and after that you feel, oh, only for this I had to struggle so much.
Actually, this happens.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that's all what it is. Got it. But till that time, yes. Okay, then good night, and we'll meet
All right.
tomorrow or whenever you ping me, and we'll meet.
Certainly, I'll drop you a text
Okay.
as and when required.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Okay. Good night.
Take care then.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time. Bye bye. Good
Bye
night.
bye. Good night.